On this episode of the Aquila 32 Sport Owner's Experience Series, we're going to show you how to upgrade your house batteries from AGM to lithium. It's more than just a battery swap. I'll get into the mistakes I made along the way so that you can avoid them if you decide you want lithium in your future. In the boating world, you may hear it referred to as installing a lithium bank. Having never done this before, that's exactly what I did. I went out and bought 2 lithium batteries and put them in after I nearly puked. Lithium is expensive. The batteries we chose were the Relion RB300s. These are 300 amp hour batteries, so just slightly more than the 260 amp hour batteries we took out. I want to emphasize we, because the old AGM batteries are really heavy, 170 pounds or more. And I'd highly recommend getting help if you don't want to crush or break a finger, or maybe 3. In my case, my wife sufficed. Anyone who knows us knows she's the powerful one in our partnership. Some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The lithium batteries are a lot lighter, I'm guessing by more than half, so replacement in the future won't be such a daunting task, outside of the sticker shock. An AGM house battery is just a touch over $800, where the lithium 300 amp hour batteries will set you back $2,500. The Aquila 32 has 2. Before removing and installing the new, you need to do a couple of things. First, unplug the shore power cord. Next, turn off the battery switches in the cabin. Now turn off the CZone main breaker in the control room. You're now ready to remove the old house batteries. They're under the port side aft seat. I typically remove the positive cable first to reduce the risk of sparks. Remember that you're right next to one of the fuel tanks. With the weight of the old AGMs and the location of the batteries, I would have sworn they built the boat around the batteries, but with a lot of effort, you'll be able to get them out of their cradles. My advice, small steps. The lithiums, because they're lighter, seem to go in a lot easier. Attach the positive cable last, again, to reduce sparks. After completing the install, I turned on the house batteries in the cabin and then turned on the CZone breaker and waited for the system to come up. 100% on the batteries. Hooray! The system sees the batteries. That's a great thing. I realized I might need to do something else because even with the small reduction in the house battery charge, the inverter was throwing bulk charge and nearly 100% to replenish the lithiums regardless of the amount of discharge. Definitely not what I was used to seeing with the AGMs. So I reached out to Mastervolt, who makes your inverter, to see what was going on. So here's a little battery school. AGMs, lead acid batteries, they provide resistance to a charger. That's how the charger knows how much charge they have. Lithiums don't. They take just about whatever you can throw at them. This is okay to a point. When you're underway, your motor alternators are providing power to the motors and trying to charge your house batteries. With no resistance, your alternators will be running overtime. I did reach out to Mercury and they said that the 300 Verado alternators should be okay. That said, Mastervolt asked which inverter I had on the boat so that they could provide direction on setting the dip switches to recognize lithium house batteries. Depending on the year of your Aquila, you're going to have either the 12 2500 Mass Combi unit or the 12 3000 Combi Master. I had the 12 2500. And that unit, even though it was relatively new, made in 2021, was not built to recognize lithium batteries. So I had to buy a 12 3000, which will give you 500 volts more power and can handle the lithium batteries. West Marine had them for under $1,300, so add that to your budget.
Well, got our new Combi Master, the inverter, and it worked fine except for it did not have dip switches, which would allow you to handle a lithium bank. So we put the lithium batteries in, the charging kind of went a little funky on us. It was working, but we felt like it would be better if we put in a unit that was made to handle lithium charging. So these lights down here, what you're going to find is that whenever you start your boat, this light here will come on. That goes into inverter mode, and these lights all come off. So that's going to be your difference here. We have not tied this in.
On the CZone, the battery status is showing properly, but no power numbers. The inverter on-off switch is inoperable and the unit name is incorrect. While swapping these two units out is generally a plug-and-play job, nearly wire for wire, finding someone that deals with Mastervolt stuff is not as easy as you might think. Mastervolt is a Dutch company that does have a location in Wisconsin. Their website will point you to dealers or technicians near you. Our boat is in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and there was supposed to be 3 in the Hampton Roads area, the 10th largest metro in the country, and about a 4-hour boat ride. South, there was Morehead City, a 2 or 3 day boat ride. Turns out the 3 in Hampton Roads were all closed, and the one in Morehead City referred me to Wanchese, which was about a 2-hour boat ride. And they did the job for $250. You may have never heard of Wanchese, but it's worth pointing out that it's the home of Bayless, Bertram, Custom Carolina, Guthrie, Jarrett Bay, and Regulator. And none of them can help you with Mastervolt and CZone. So living next to the 10th largest metro, sitting on the Chesapeake Bay, and mile 1 of the Intercoastal, and 2 hours away from 7 huge yacht manufacturers, and absolutely no support. Be ready to be hands-on with your Aquila. Take my word, there is no YouTube video that's going to get you through this next step. Before reaching out to Mastervolt, you need to order a couple of things and have a laptop that can connect to the internet from the boat. In my case, I just use my phone as a hotspot. The items you need to purchase are a Masterbus USB interface, a USB power cord, trust me, get a 10-footer, an Ethernet splitter, and a small patch cable, and a Mastervolt CZone drop cable. Now it's time to do some installation. First thing is to remove the old Mastervolt serial interface. Keep the screws and use them to attach the Masterbus USB interface in its place. They look nearly identical except for the USB port. Now remove the wiring off the center column to expose the wires.
So this is that nice looking cable cover that goes right over the top of this and covers up all of these wires and everything. And you can see that all of these things here are all real loose, and this is actually an area where you can stick your wires through and guide as they've done here. And then this just snaps right back up on there. It literally just snaps on top of this whole thing.
The Mastervolt and CZone system is literally a network that uses the same kind of cables you'd see on your network at home or at the office. The Mastervolt network is different in that it needs terminators at the beginning and the end of the network, so you need to strategically place terminators in the system so that all of the Mastervolt and CZone items are in between so they can be seen. On your boat, you have 5 main components. At one end of the network and located under the left aft port seat is a shunt. A shunt is a device that reads information from your batteries and reports it to the network. Here you'll find a terminator and an RJ45 network cable that goes into your control room. The cabling for the shunt is located here. Now for the wiring. In the control room, you have the USB interface, the bridge, the Combi Master, and the network backbone. There are other devices, but these are the critical components for the network. Let's start at the USB interface. From here you should have a terminator on the right, the USB power cable in the middle that will allow us to connect to a laptop, and the original short RJ45 that goes to the Y connector that I call a splitter. You'll note that the splitter is a short cable with a NEMA connector that goes into the bridge. In the other socket of the Y splitter, a cable should run to one of the sockets in the Combi Master. In the other socket of the Combi Master, you should plug in the RJ45 for the shunt. This should complete the network.
So we've got this thing snapped on there now. And this literally just kind of slides up and down, hides those things. These just push together and it just goes up there. This snaps on. Make sure it's snapped all the way up. And that keeps all your wires looking nice.
Now we need to install the Mastervolt CZone drop cable into the network backbone. To do this, you need to find the open port in the network backbone. Here. Screw in the NEMA end of the cable into the backbone. The other end can be coiled up for now. When the Mastervolt support folks ask you to connect it, you'll simply unplug the shunt cable from the bottom of the Combi Master here and replace it with the drop cable. Optionally, if you purchase the network splitter and patch cable, you won't have to unplug anything. In this diagram, you can see that the shunt would go directly into the splitter, and one side of the splitter would go into the Combi Master. Now you have room for the CZone drop cable to go directly into the splitter. This will allow support to see the CZone configuration, but for now, just leave it coiled and out of the way. Time to back up the boat's current configuration to store your starting point so you can go back to it if you need to. For this, you'll need a thumb drive.
I'm not sure if this is going to work out well. I'm going to try to do a lot of this one-handed. I think I can. I'm just taking this cover off here. I think it's right in here. There it is right there. Okay, so I'll leave that right there. There's your USB port, and there's your button you press to go ahead and load everything there. So I'll go ahead and pop a stick in here. There it is. All right, now I'm going to try and get everything on there. Hold that button down, flashes. Now it's copying everything over here to the stick. Alright, so that should be everything on the stick. We'll take this inside and load it on the computer, see what we got. Okay, I've inserted the USB into the computer, and I have, you can see the Lexar up here, and it's got several files on here. Now these files, the only one you want to keep, you want to take these, create a directory somewhere on your PC or just on your desktop, it doesn't matter. And then you're going to copy these files over, and I've already done that, to a directory called Aquila new, okay? That's where they're sitting now. I've got everything except for this back file. This back file remains because actually this is something that's written back to the koi box on the CZone. So since we've already copied these items here, now I need to delete these 3 items here, and we're going to work with this as the configuration file. So now we've deleted the files that we don't need on the drive, so I can close that. All right, so now we can take this file and open it up. You can see it's an Excel file. It's actually a comma delimited spreadsheet. So it's a data file that is read back and forth. Opening this up, we can see the following on here. So with this, I'm going to double click and I'm going to take a look so you can actually see what's in each one of these columns here. So this is what we have so far. So it's basically saying that you've got, I guess, the 2 different koi boxes are out here, the dip switch settings that are on each one of those. There's something called an MBI, which I don't know what that either one of these are. A Touch 5. I'm guessing the Touch 5 is the CZone display panel inside the cabin. So I know what that is. These are, I'm guessing, dip switch settings here. But what I don't see anywhere on here is the Combi Master unit, the 12-3000. So now we need to use, I think, what I've been told is the software.
There are some required downloads before the folks at Mastervolt can help. You'll need the Master Adjust software and the CZone configuration tool. First, let's get the Master Adjust software. To do this, you want to open up your web browser and go to the mastervolt.com site. Once you've opened the site, go to the search window. From the search window, type in the word Master Adjust, just like it's spelled there. Now you'll see as a top option the Master Adjust software. From here, double click on that, select it. Now you have a new page for the downloads. Scroll down and you'll see a download option. Get it. All right, now from here your file has been downloaded. Just double click on it to execute it on your computer. Here you'll see the setup. Just double click on it and begin your setup there. I've got some virus protection there, just bypass it. It's safe to go. And then run it on your computer. Just finish the install process and that's all there is to it. Once you've done this, your Master Adjust software has been installed. Now let's get the CZone configuration tool. From your laptop, go to czone.net. From here, select the CZone portal. From the portal page, select CZone Info Packages. This will take you to the Downloads page. From here, select the latest CZone Info package download. This will be the top file listed. It's large and will take a few minutes to download. Once downloaded, open it in an Explorer window. To install the CZone configuration tool, open up the package. Once opened, go down to the Software file folder. And here you'll see the CZone config tool installer. Select it and run through the installation process as normal on your computer. For good measure, it's not a bad idea to download the latest version of the CZone Touch 5 software to update your CZone screen in your cabin. For this, you'll need an SD card that has an integrated mini SD. We're going to copy the latest CZone Touch 5 onto the SD, so insert an SD card into your computer. Open the CZone info package from here, just like before. From here, you're going to double-click on the package, go down to your software, double-click, and find the CZone Display Touch 5 update. You're going to take this, right-click, you're going to copy this file here, and then simply paste it onto your SD card, and then you're ready to take the SD card to your boat. Now you're ready to contact Mastervolt. When you call, select the options to go to support for Mastervolt and CZone products. You'll be put on hold. Don't expect them to pick up. There's only 2 guys and they stay busy. After holding for a couple of minutes, you'll have an option for them to call you back. You want to take this. If you called early enough in the day, you should get a call back within 2 to 4 hours and probably talk to James or David. Once someone from support has contacted you, get to your boat. It needs to be close. Open and have available the Master Adjust software and the CZone configuration software. Make sure you have Wi-Fi available to your laptop, either through Wi-Fi already available on the boat or through your phone via a hotspot. They will give you instructions on connecting them live to the laptop. Tell them you're doing a replacement of your Mast Combi with a Combi Master. Let them know that you already have the Master Adjust and CZone software running. Let them know that you already have the network wired for the upgrade with the proper terminators. Once they've logged in, have them first verify the software versions for your bridge and your koi boxes. This was crucial to my update. From here, they will go through a process on the Master Adjust software first to remove the Mast Combi, then add in the Combi Master. Verify the index addresses and change the name on your CZone. They will then ask you to plug in the CZone drop cable that's already plugged into your backbone. Remember to remove the shunt plug from the Combi Master and replace it with the drop cable. Or use the optional wiring I described earlier with the splitter. From there, they will pull your current CZone configuration and update it. Because of the prep work on this video, they should be able to complete your update for you in about 30 minutes or so.
All right, we're going to update the CZone screen, and we've got our SD card to do that. But in order to get in there, we have to remove this first. This is going to be a screw behind here. We're going to open this up. See what we have behind here. Supposedly there's an update port. In here, there's your CZone screen. Or another way is to take a small knife and get behind this panel here, pull this right off, just like that. And in here you can see some really tiny screws. Take a loose, looks like just those 4 screws there, and you should be able to pull this out. All right, these screws are now out. This thing should come right out. The reason we couldn't do it from the back is because the bottom of this booger, and I'm going to show you right now, was wedged. It was wedged here on this board, so you couldn't get that panel down. All right, let's see what we got here. So if you hit this menu button right here and go to settings, you'll see that you have an option here to update the software. All right, we're going to try this update. And we're going to hit update. It was the micro SD. So I was preparing. I don't know what it's doing here. Maybe it's sucked in the software, rebooting. All right, after about 2 to 3 minutes, it'll finish up. Looks like it's rebooting. Should come back with the new version. Anyway, once this is finished up, we're just going to pull the SD card out of the bottom. I'm going to put these screws back on, and I'm going to pop the cover back on, and that should actually finish what we're doing. Anyway, it finished up, and when it finished up, it probably took about 2 or 3 minutes actually just to boot, probably because of the new updates. I always go doctor way. And then one thing I like to leave on since I'm in shore power, and it's still doing these things here, is I like to turn on the fridge and the sure shade, in case I need it. So that should be it. This is new. I didn't get that before. And obviously these house batteries are off, so I expect the low voltage is there. But everything else is working. All of our, let's see if I monitor, like the house battery, you can see all that. There's the house battery. The shore generator and inverter, I didn't take a look at that. There we go. Inverter charger, you can see everything there. All the numbers are good. So looks like this update really didn't change too much other than a couple of colors that we saw. And that's good. Easy update.
While figuring this out was a challenge and sometimes frustrating, this process made me more familiar with my investment. I was in a tough spot with no one near that could help with the process, so I was kind of pushed in a corner to get it done myself, and you might be as well. My hope is that this video takes the mystery out of updating your Aquila to lithium. A big thanks to James and David over at Mastervolt for spending hours upon hours helping me get this done. The whole process should cost close to $7,000 and takes a couple of hours after you get all the parts and software. I hope this has been helpful. And that completes another edition of our Owner's Experience series. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya!